Hello. Good evening. It's Monday night. I'll wait for you guys all to jump on. I got 2 thumbs up already. What? Thank you. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, let me know and where you're tuning in from. So I'm always intrigued as to where we're reaching. God, I got these bright lights. They're a little bright. How is everybody? I'll give you a few minutes. Monday night. It's been quite a week for many of you. Let's see who is here. Who is here? Hello, Facebook. It's Monday night. It's time to talk. It's time to chat. It's time to whatever. I don't know what we do. For those of you who don't know what this is, I don't either. My name is Deborah Hanlon. I'm intuitive, and I like to spend Monday nights hearing from all of you about what's going on in your lives, answer questions, talk about life, talk about energy, talk about whatever. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, just let me know this is your first time and tell me where you're tuning in from. I like to see where we are all over the country. And tonight's kind of a big night. I'm going to talk for a few minutes while you all kind of pop on here, but the energy in the air, night before election. We're not going to talk about election sides, whatever. I'm not entertaining it. I don't want to hear it. We all have our opinions. Our opinions are opinions. They're all beautiful opinions, wonderful opinions. I hear you. I see you. We're not talking about politics. What I would like to talk about is just the collective energy in the air about, wow, there is this undercurrent of, someone said today, actually it was Michelle, had said today that there's this like somber energy in the air. And there's a few reasons why she stated that, but hello, Jenny. Thank you for tuning in the first time. Move the other mic. Why? It looks like a rocket ship in there. And it does feel somber. It feels like everybody's like on bated breath. Everyone's waiting. And here's what I want to say to everyone. Not political at all, because I get it. You'll shut me off and nobody wants to hear anybody talk about politics. What I do want to remind all of you is that we are all contributing to the collective consciousness. And so if you are feeling nervous and anxious or riled up or sad or, a lot of these more heavier energetic emotions that are coming through, anxiety, you can feel it, allow yourself to feel it for sure. Don't push it down, don't push it away, but be very mindful what you do with it. Very mindful. Because while our feelings are incredibly real and valid, and every single feeling, no matter what your beliefs and opinions are, whatever you feel is right and not right, you are 100% allowed to come from the perspective that you're coming from. And nobody, myself, is certainly not telling you otherwise. What I am saying is that we have to be mindful of how we express these heavier, denser, more stressful energies that are coming inside of us. And as soon as we take our internal stresses and fears and anxieties and all those things, and as soon as we throw them out onto someone else, onto a thought, a feeling, onto a social media platform, as soon as we do that, we're creating it for others. And it's very difficult not to do it. It's very difficult. But it's kind of like being the first person who's trying a drug and then you hand it to your friends and you say, hey, you got to try this. It's kind of the same thing. So be mindful of the energy that you are contributing to the world, because that's the only energy you have any domain over. It's the only one I can have power over is my own. I am not going to change opinions. I don't want to waste my time and energy trying to think that I could change someone's opinions and thoughts. I don't want to. But what I definitely don't want to do is throw my fears and anxieties and negativities and angers and all of those things that I also do feel. I don't want to throw them onto anybody. And so I become mindful, and I'm not perfect at that by any means. In fact, my own immediate household probably gets the biggest brunt of mine. But that's what I want you to be mindful in this context of unity, of oneness. And I talk about planetary oneness, not even the United States oneness. I mean, planetary oneness. Feel what you're feeling. Be okay with what you're feeling. Give yourself permission to feel the way you feel. Give yourself permission to believe what you believe. You are 100% okay with, regardless of what that is. It's your perspective. And unless someone is sitting down to take time with us each individually to find out what our opinions are and where we arrived at certain opinions, unless we're doing that with each other to kind of dig deeper and wonder like, oh, wow, why do you feel that way about such and such? If we're not doing that, then what we can do is we can manage and monitor our own energy we're putting out there. And so be mindful of that, because as soon as we spew something on social media, which we all have done, as soon as we do that, we are guilty of creating exactly what it is we're probably venting about on social media. So if we're constantly angry about people who are not believing in freeing the sea turtles, right? Like we're constant, but that's something that's really important to you. And you're saying, I can't believe people don't believe and care about the sea turtles. That is personal and real to you. And it's very viable and very, very amazing that you are coming with that. But the minute you throw it out there, like, I can't believe there's people who aren't doing this, you are starting to create division. You're starting to create separation. You're starting to create mass anger and a collective contributive. You're contributing to the collective anger, contributing to the collective anxiety. And that we can manage. Individually, we can manage. So that is what I want to have, my little Dharma talk in the beginning of my Monday nights is that the world is in this weird space today and this year and tonight. Everyone waiting for tomorrow. And I think a lot of us will be relieved tonight. Let's see. Oh, yeah, potential violence and all of that, Matt, for sure. It concerns. I don't think anyone is, well, I shouldn't say that. It definitely concerns you, but how are you going to then contribute to peace? So, yes, no, I don't want violence. I'll just speak for myself. And I know many people don't want to see violence. I know many people don't want to see people in pain and people hurt. I really don't believe that many people do want that. And yes, there are out there. But I do believe strongly that the people who want pain on other, like serious actual pain, on other people are actually a small percentage. But when we get riled up in a riled up response and we're putting it out there, we are just putting out more of that same energy. So how, the way, I guess the other way I can phrase this is, how are you going to contribute to a higher vibrational energy, a higher feeling versus the denser, sadder, depression, fear, anxiety, uncertainty, anger? Those are denser. Those are heavier. I'm not saying they're bad, because they're not bad. No emotion is bad, but they're heavier, they're denser. So if we want peace, and if we're concerned about violence and we want peace, how are you as the individual, because you're the only one that's in charge of that peace, because you can't I have no mobilization of peace soldiers. I have none of that, but I do have the mobilization of the peace within myself. And so that is my point. So I'm not saying not to express, but I'm saying to be mindful of how you're expressing and how you're putting it out there, because you can put it out there and only contribute more anger and violence and sadness. Even in, I can't believe these people who are going for violence, how ridiculous, which you're only then contributing more anger, if that makes sense. So it is one of those things that just be mindful, be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. We are all, myself included, very blind to what we feel inside and how that's conveyed outward. I mean, I know my intention behind my words tonight. I know my intention behind what I want for humanity. I'm very aware that what I want for humanity doesn't mean anything more than what I want for humanity. But I also have to be aware of that maybe my words will get misconstrued as well. But my intention is not to say that anybody is wrong anywhere. Honestly, that's the whole thing. So I wanted to address that before we move on, because it is heavy on many Americans' minds. Anyway, it is a heavy feeling in the air, an uncertain feeling in the air. So that's all I want to say about that. Just be mindful. What are you contributing? How are you contributing? How can you contribute in a way that makes you feel good and puts on a light bulb for others versus pulls us down with an anchor? Let's see. Any questions? North Carolina, New Jersey. Hello, Marissa. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Eileen. Eileen is freezing. Let's see. Feed up. It's Monday evening with Deb, so all will be well for an hour or so. Isn't that nice? I love that. Serena, thank you so much. That's right. You were front row of the gallery last week. I do have another gallery. They keep adding Winding Hills Golf Club. I think they still have seats for, oh crap. I have to use my phone because my other phone that I normally use for Facebook was not charged. So, I think it's November 13th. So I don't know. I got to check that. But I have another gallery at Winding Hills Golf Course. You can call them too to find out if they have more seats available. It's a Tuesday night. So it's either it's not tomorrow night. I think it's the next. So whatever date that is, I think. We'll find out. So what is new? What is new? What's going on with all of you? And what are your generalized kind of questions? Tisha, very heavy vibrations, usually blocked, but too many. Oops, hold on. Too much is around at once. Can't wait till the election's over. Yeah, I think the uncertainty of this whole thing has definitely held us back or held us down. So, what are we doing about it for ourselves individually, as an individual? What are we doing about it? Yes, Martha, I agree. Let's see, Sarah. I hear you. Single parent life does not allow you to go to a gallery. I do galleries on Zoom. I haven't done one since I did them in person because I was kind of just, I wanted to do as many in person as I could until we can't gather again. And so probably in December, I don't know if I put any on the calendar for December yet, there'll be online galleries, which might not feel the same, but I still know the content is the same. I don't use as many jokes because I can't hear laughter through Zoom. So I'm just like, yeah, let's just get straight to the readings. So J Puzzle Thomas, thank you. I'm doing well today. I feel collectively the feelings of the world, and that's always heavy. I feel was hit with some perspective today that kind of bothers me, that I complain about certain things, and a perspective was brought to me today by somebody who is going through a very, 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 very horrific time as we speak right this moment. And it just slammed me into perspective. And I hate that. And I love it at the same time, because most of the time I want to tell myself to shut up when I'm complaining. So I am today feeling like the uncertainty and the like, oh my God, let's just get the show on the road. And I'm feeling the heaviness of a particular person and their family and what they're going through at this hour, against the backdrop of my own dumb worries. Like, I've been ranting and raving and throwing a huge internal massive fit. I think I've been good on the outside that I have not had a car in 18 days. 18 mother effing days. Okay? Right. They did not have to rebuild my car, but I wish I should have had them rebuild the car. So I've been bitching about that. I've been really, really cranky about that. And I don't like lack of communication. So when I don't get communicated properly with like what is going on with my car, I've been in this tirade about it internally, and I'm trying to stay good. Like, hey, trying to stay good. And then I was going to blow today, and then I was hit with perspective from somebody else of like, you know what, Deb, if the worst thing you can complain about tonight is that you haven't had a car for 18 days, you're freaking lucky. So there's the scales that went back into balance. Like, okay, it's just a car. It's just a car. It's been a drag. It's just a car. Nobody's ill. Everything will be fine. So that's that. Thank you, J Puzzle Thomas, for asking me. Let's see. Tisha, wine. Yes. Joan, you want me to do a gallery on Zoom? James did some painting tonight that helped anxiety. It always helps. Takes me elsewhere. Yep. Yeah, perspective blows. It doesn't, right? Like it's sometimes it's really good for us to get hit in the face with like some real hardcore perspective, because otherwise I'm ranting and raving about really stuff that doesn't matter for the most part. So, I guess, we have to, why no rental? Thought it was going to be a much quicker fix. And so I didn't. It's not through insurance. So I've been waiting, and I keep being told a different day, and it keeps getting pushed out. Hey, it'll be done this day and it'll be done that way. This is not something we typically experience with our mechanics. So this is not usual. And we've used this person for many, many years. So I'm trying to stay calm. Trying to stay calm. So that's why no rental. But had I known that it would be 18 days and now tomorrow's going on 19 days, then I would have gotten a rental. But I didn't know, because I'm apparently a really shitty psychic then, I guess. I mean, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. So let's see what Facebook is saying. What are you guys saying? Thank you, Mickey. Okay, Shannon. Hey, Shannon. Oh my God, good to see you here. Let's see. Any thoughts on mind-body connections, mind-body-spirit connections? I have a condition called conversion disorders, when my losses and grief and PTSD come out physically, and I'm struggling with allowing myself to feel everything, if that makes sense. That totally makes sense. I've not heard of that title, but grief and PTSD from grief or trauma absolutely will show up in physical symptoms. I would say 100% of the time. 100% of the time. In metaphysical medicine, the lungs are described as what helps us to process grief. Every organ processes emotions, which remember, emotions, humans believe emotions are these feelings and these ways that we express our feelings. But emotions, to me, are just different vibrational energy that moves through our body. So instead of saying, I'm feeling angry, which is what I do say, I'll feel angry, the more accurate description of that emotion is, I'm experiencing the energy of anger in my body and in my mind. And when we put it that way, we kind of don't personalize it as much. We just realize like, oh, here's the energy of anxiety. Oh, here's the energy of stress, of anger, of sadness, of joy, of happiness. And it helps us not to get attached or defined by the way we feel. So when we experience grief, the lungs help process the energy of grief. And so very often after someone's experienced the death of a loved one, they will get very, very prone to anything lung related, just shortness of breath. It could be suddenly asthmatic, could be as serious as lung cancer develops. It could be pneumonia, a COPD, a virus that lands in your lungs, COVID, any kind of lung sensitivity that happens on a metaphysical level, on that deeper, subtle, energetic layers and levels of the makeup of our body, which we are all energy, is the energy of grief. And it means it's the lungs have been working so hard on trying to process that they're trying to keep up, and it usually weakens the lungs. And of course, the whole system, goes. Once the lungs go, then it affects different organs, which makes total sense. So when you're looking to help heal a patient and deal with the experience of grief, super important to know this, because as they come in with colds and this and that, they go and they take Mucinex and they're like, I'm just not getting better. I don't feel good. But now Mucinex in excess, because it's trying to solve a problem that's not really the problem, you take some of that, then that throws off your stomach, and then the whole system goes out of whack, when really the support of the body just needed grief, emotional, energetic support. So that makes complete sense that you would have physical manifestations and issues after experience. Shannon, for those of you who don't know, many of you don't, had 2 children pass. And separately, at 2 separate times. And so, the energy of grief, when not constantly primed and worked on, which it can't, because especially in the United States, we're not really grief supportive in this climate, in this day and age. When we were tribal, we handled grief. We handled grief with lots of different modalities. The primal screams was a part of getting the release of grief. The community energy, dancing around the fire, dancing, was a big part of moving the energy of grief out of the body. So there were a lot more basic things collectively as a community we used to do back when we were tribal. As time goes on, and now we deal with like, I have to, what's that family's leave act? I only have like 6 days and then I got to get back to work. Right. 6 days. Right. My children died and I have to get back to work in 6 days, or even 6 weeks. We have to like return to normal, and our country is not very good at empathy. And I don't mean, we feel awkward. We feel awkward a lot of times on what do we say to the coworker who experienced a death and now they're coming back? What do we say to them? We don't know what to say. We don't know what to do. And so we usually avoid. That's what we normally do. And so all these things contribute to the fact that your grief is not getting worked on and dealt with. And so that energy of grief has to go somewhere, because energy doesn't stay stuck. It doesn't stay in one spot. Anywhere in the whole entire universe, it doesn't stay stuck in one spot. But when we're humans and we can't really deal with it because we have to keep going and we've got other life going on, it kind of settles in parts of our bodies. And eventually it moves its way out, either through pain, through dis-ease in the body, or hopefully we get to finally touch upon our grief in an emotional way and we can move it out that way. So Joan is also commenting how meditation can certainly move grief. And I told you all last week, I cannot tell you that, I know we're all searching for the cure of wanting to get happy, wanting to know how do we attain our goals, how do we get healthier, how do we feel more at peace, what do I do? I screwed up 20 years ago, I'm paying the price, all of that stuff that I hear from all of you every day and live out myself. Meditation, I swear, it's so obnoxious to say and to hear. I get it. But the more I do it, the more I realize it's all we need. It's all we need. It's a constant diligent, meditative practice to shut up our, what I call the a-hole brain of ours, to sit with our grief, to sit with our discomfort, to sit with our anxiety and be with it. And that lets it move through the body. So meditation is 100% key to all of it. Key to positive visualization for the future, key for healing, key for getting present, key for handling the stuff that happened in the past. I mean, it's just so amazing that we are so undereducated about just how magnificent the benefits of meditation are. So I would absolutely start there, Shannon, and know that you're not alone. Get as much information as possible as to how you move the energy. And I do highly suggest reframing all of it in terms of energy. Reframing it meaning, when we say my anxiety, I've been so anxious, my anxiety's acting up. That personifies and owns. That actually tells your body, hey, this personality and this energy known as anxiety is a part of you and you need more of it if you're going to be alive. That's unconsciously what it's saying. So don't ever say my fibromyalgia or my bad heart or my bum leg or my anxiety or my anger problem. You don't want to say my anything. These are just energies moving through the body. The energy of sadness moving through my body, the energy of grief, the energy of pain that's moving through my leg or blah, 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 blah. That will teach your mind, body, and spirit to not all of a sudden go into your brain and your brain starts spewing a really nasty story about yourself. Well, you just can never get it together. You're just probably lazy. See, nobody ever loves you and blah, 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 blah. We start to spin in a story. But when we say the energy of, there's really no story attached. It's just the energy of. So I hope that makes sense to you. You said that you hope that your question makes sense to me. Now I'm hoping it makes sense to you. Susan Lopez is asking, what do you think the lesson from COVID-19 could be? I love that question. I think there's many. I think there's so many to be learned. Let me back up. We often talk about having lessons to learn in this lifetime. Myself, I've done it for years, talked about the lessons we had to learn. I'm here to learn that lesson. And recently, within maybe even around COVID, since COVID, I started to really reflect on that whole concept of the lesson I have to learn here in this lifetime. Well, this is part of my lesson I have to learn. And it suddenly hit me in meditation. It hit me where I'm like, that sounds really terrible that we're here to learn a lesson. As if like there's this grand scheme of the universe trying to make us see. It's very old school, authoritarian thinking. And I thought, wait a minute, like the universe isn't an authority. It's not an authoritarian energy. It just is. It's just this magnificent, giant, collective, connected energy. So it's not an overpowering, abrasive energy. It's not I told you so energy. So when I started thinking like, wow, the lessons I need to learn in this lifetime, I started to change the word lesson, the lessons that the universe is teaching me, or the lessons my soul is here to experience. And I started changing the word lesson to experiences. The experiences my soul came here for, the experiences that I'm having so that I learn a certain way has dramatically helped me. It doesn't feel as punishing where lessons do. So I'll change your question. What do I think the experience from COVID-19 could be? And I do think there's many. I think we finally get to see we're really one. This entire ginormous globe with almost 8 billion of us on this planet. What happens in one area of this planet touches every other aspect of the planet. And we've been taught this since I can remember in grade school, elementary school. And yet the concept, it was still very conceptual. But now we see we are one energy field. We're one body. What happens in one area of the globe will affect every single area. So that's, to me, that's such a beautiful awareness of like, wow, like, I think the concept, and it's like the John Lennon song, I think the concept of even being separate nations is getting obsolete. We're not we don't need to be separate nations. Forget about separate like within the country. We don't need to be separate nations. We're just was one people. We only have this one giant rock that we're all living on, and we either take care of it or we don't. And if we don't, we're probably not going to be here, which is whatever. Okay, so maybe we're not going to be here, but we're all in that together and we're all really connected. And I always like to think in meditation, actually, I like to try to just think about right now, as you guys are listening to my voice, there are whales swimming at depths of the ocean that we can't even conceive. There are sharks and fish and octopus and starfish and sea turtles swimming around, eels, dolphins, seals. There's a whole thing going on in all these oceans and all these waters across this huge rock that we are all on right now as you are listening to my voice. How many times do you think of that? But it's happening. You're doing this and your attention and focus is here. But all of a sudden, there's like, it starts making the world and the planet feel like alive and connected because somewhere there's a mommy whale giving birth right now. And somewhere else, there's a shark eating it. I don't know. I don't know. There's my positive pep talk. But right now, there are deer out in woods hunkering down if it's nighttime where you are listening. I find that to be remarkable. Right now, there's a family over in Italy that's probably, what time is this? Probably they're waking up for breakfast and stuff. All of a sudden, my consciousness gets connected to them. I don't even know who I'm talking about, but my brain goes to a family in Italy. And now I realize, oh my God, right now as I speak, there are many, 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 many energies and people and places and species on this planet as I exist in my world that I think is so self-centered and so important. There's so much going on in other areas of the world. So I think COVID, one of the lessons / experiences that COVID is teaching us is that, my God, could we just see that we're one and that together we can either take care of each other or together we can, every man for yourself. I mean, we get a choice. So there's that. I do feel that the globe had an opportunity for a slowdown that we very much needed. I think it has granted us perspective on how much we take for granted. I think it gave us the experience of, gave us the opportunity to miss people because we take everyone for granted. And now I took it for granted that right now around this time of year, basketball starts up for my son and we would be in a packed gym and we would be screaming and yelling at refs and just going crazy. And I took that for granted and I missed that. So I think there's a lot to be learned from the experience of COVID. I think we can also realize that fear and uncertainty is still a real thing. And we could just look at ourselves and realize like we're a lot stronger than we ever give ourselves credit for, which is pretty ironic, that we are pretty resilient, that we do try our best. Most people do try their best. So, there are definitely bad people out there, but you know what? At some point, we're all a bad person. And that perspective is really important. And what I mean by bad people, I don't mean like, there are times when I have behaved in a manner that someone probably has given me the finger and I'm not even aware of it. So sometimes our perception of what someone is doing is bad is just our perception of it and they're not aware of it. Like I gave the example a couple weeks ago about I kind of cut somebody off in a parking lot and I wasn't aware of it. I didn't purposely do it by any means, but I caught the whole like, oh my God, I just cut that person off. And they were totally pissed at me and they had every right. And of course, whoever that person was in their car is probably on that dumb idiot, blah, blah, blah. What is she doing? She doesn't know. People are so inconsiderate. And they would be right about me, who really tries hard to not consider myself or be inconsiderate, but I have been unknowingly. So I think we need to be mindful of the perspective and stop trying to put everybody into a category of good or bad, right or wrong, this or that, and maybe just understand, like, you know what, I have a perspective, this is where I'm coming from, and that's it. Mine matters to me. It doesn't matter to everybody, if that makes sense, and I'm okay with that. Let's see. Do I see our country locking down like Europe? It's hard when I'm involved. I was just telling a Zoom group yesterday. It's very hard when I am involved for me to get a clear picture of intuition because I'm getting in the way because I'm attached to the outcome of the answer that comes through. When I give intuitive messages to people, I'm not attached to the outcome. I don't know anything about it. My desire for an outcome is not involved in it. But with COVID, I'm just as curious as to what I think and feel, so I get in the way. I think that I was going to say I think we should, and then I'm like, well, that's my specific point of view. I don't know. I have to say I have my own view on it, but it's not necessarily an intuitive view, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I would probably say yes. And me personally, I would hope so. I hope that we do, because I do think this is a very serious, quick, fast-moving disease that I'm not worried for myself or anyone in my home at all, thank goodness. But I worry that I could carry it to somebody else. And I worry that if I could do my tiny little part and sacrifice a little bit, which stinks, but if I do that for the good of the big picture and the good of the whole, I think that's a spiritual practice to me. So that's why I say I hope that we would shut down if it does become something so big. But that's my own personal belief. It's not an intuitive coming from somewhere else perspective. Let's see. How do our loved ones on the other side react to seeing us going through difficult times here on earth? Does this upset them? That's a fantastic question, Serena. People don't normally like the answer to this because you can't understand it. So hear the whole answer. But no, well, yes, they do see us go through difficult times, and no, they're not upset by it. So people go, what? Why would they not be upset? And then why they're not upset is because they have reached this level of awareness and consciousness that they are part of the collective whole. They are part of that unity, knowing we are all one. And they have understood that whatever we're going through at the time is part of our experiences that our soul chose to experience in this lifetime. And so it doesn't upset them. They're not attached in the way of like, this is so unfair. It doesn't work like that. So the concept of how we respond to things as a human perspective versus that spiritual or higher self perspective are two very different things. I have a friend who has a child dying, and my higher self, spiritual self, medium self knows with full certainty that there is life after death. I have zero question about it. I know with full certainty her daughter will be with her daughter will be okay, her daughter will be present. And so my higher self or my spiritual self is like, it's all fine. It's going to be okay. Everyone's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. And this mom is going to be okay. And the rest of the family is going to be okay. And it's all part of their journey. My higher self knows that. But my human self is fucking pissed for them. Furiously sad, heartbroken, and devastated. So I can be both people. I can't split them apart. I am human and I'm here in human form, and I don't want to see anybody suffer, true suffering. That especially suffering that you don't bring on to yourself, you don't ask for, and nor if you ask for it. I don't want people to suffer, but my human self can't tolerate that. My head can't get wrapped around it. Why is this family going through that? Why are there people who are hundreds of years old and they're waiting to die and they're not dying? And then why is this family going through that? It doesn't make sense to me as a human being at all. And I don't like it. It's not fair. That's my human self. My higher self, my medium self, she doesn't question any of that. It's all part of the plan. This is all beautifully orchestrated. This is playing into everyone's soul's choices. The time is exactly, perfect. This child was always going to pass whenever they pass. They were always going to pass that time. I know that stuff on that higher level, but my human self says too bad. So they're in that higher self space. They're not coming from their human lack and limited perspective. So that's why I say no, they don't get upset, because they know there's a bigger picture at play here. That's a great question. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to answer this one. I'm going to go to that one. If a loved one has not properly grieved, how do we gently tell them it's necessary to go through for their health? Boundaries are hard. That's a good question. You can't really tell anybody that it's necessary for someone to grieve, because it doesn't work like that. You can't tell someone to feel. You can support them wherever they're at, because not grieving and not feeling is part of the grief process for some people. So your perspective might be they really need to get it out. But their perspective in their life might be, I can't right now. I've got too much going on. I can't deal with it. I can't look at it. I can't even pretend it's happening. I just have to stay focused here. And that is a grief process in and of itself. So for helping someone grieve is meeting them where they're at and making sure they feel 100% supported in feeling whatever it is they're feeling in that moment, where they could totally be in complete denial. They could totally be completely enraged. They could be numb. They could be acting out. There's so many different modalities and ways that people grieve. So I would say be mindful of your wanting them to, for of course positive and wonderful reasons, but I would just keep saying, like, you not being able to deal with this is part of your grief process, because everybody does grieve differently. And you can't tell someone to grieve. You can't tell someone to stop grieving. I've had people come to me and they're devastated. 7, 8, 9. I had a woman 10, 11 years ago, never left her house in 11 years since her daughter passed. She refuses to go anywhere. She could not get past this death. And me telling her, hey, that's not going to help, is not going to help her. That's how she's chosen to grieve. So it's more about support and making sure somebody feels that they can feel whatever they want to feel at any moment. That's super supportive. Super supportive. Will I ever teach TM? I hear it's the best. It's very funny. I'm taking a teacher training, not for TM. It is called Primordial Sound Meditation, which is it's the same thing as TM. I am getting certified in it, and I will be done with the course in May. And after that, I will be teaching the course and being able to give people a mantra to repeat and be able to teach that style of meditation. For 15 years, I have taught guided meditation, guided imagery meditation, which is super powerful. It's every Sunday night. You guys know I've talked about this, 7:30 to 9. I can't tell you how valuable it is. I'm telling you to try it. You can do it for a whole month, sign up for the month, or you can pay week by week. All of that is on my website, or probably links are down below. But I'm currently teaching guided meditation, but I am taking a pretty cool, intense class on how to teach mantra meditation, which is essentially TM, but it is not the branding of TM. It's not the, what's the word called? Trademark. It's not the trademark of TM, but is 100% based on the premise of TM. It's kind of cool the way you receive your mantra. It is based on your time and birth. And I think that's cool that there are different sound vibrations that the universe is going through every 24 hours, every hour on the hour, I should say, for 24 hours. And depending at the time of your birth, the earth, I think I said the universe before, the earth in the universe was resonating and vibrating at a certain sound vibration at the time of all of our birth. And so your mantra is connected to that sound, which is primordial sound meditation. And so you are given a mantra, and then I teach you how to utilize the mantra to go deeper into meditation. So this is like super exciting stuff that I can't wait to be finished with so that I can bring to all of you. So it is not TM, but it is essentially TM. And they say that. They say this is TM. This was based on TM, which is transcendental meditation for anyone who's asking. Let's see. Jennifer said last night with your meditation group was great. I thought it would be dumb, but it wasn't. And my cat hung next to me the whole time too. I thought my ADHD would kick in, but your guidance helped me focus. Awesome, Jennifer. See, that's the stuff that makes me so happy. And I even like you hearing you say, like, I thought it would be dumb, because I love that kind of like real fiber. I thought this was going to be so stupid. It's deep. It is deep. So, thank you, Jen. I'm glad to hear that the guided will help. Let's see. How do you move on from a severe trauma? Brooke is asking. I wish there was like here's what you do. It really varies. It varies on when the trauma was, where the trauma was, what the trauma was, who the trauma was involved with. Was it spontaneous? Was it deliberate? Was it shoved under the rug for many years? Was it a secret? Was it out in the open? Did it cause you a feeling of betrayal? Did it cause you a feeling of mistrust? There's so many different avenues with trauma and how trauma manifests. So the big answer to a very big question would be looking at it, going deeper into it, to go back into the emotions of it, to dissect your own awareness and then your response to trauma, because we all have a trauma at some level. And it could be something simple. I mean, I've talked about something so superficial and dumb, but like someone made fun of my boots in 4th grade, and it took me 20 freaking years to ever wear winter boots again. And that's like, oh my God, Deb, get a grip. I was in 4th grade, get over it. But that's a trauma. Now, is that life-altering trauma, deep emotional, energetic, mental wound? No, it's 100% not. But yet there was an event that caused me enough fear and insecurity to behave differently for a very long time. So do not hear me say, not just you, Brooke, but everyone, that like I experienced trauma. I got made fun of with my boots. I'm not saying that. But there's levels of traumas that we have. That's why I say we all have stuff that like bothered us. An event happened and we altered the way we responded in a way that wasn't authentic and didn't feel good to us in order to be liked or accepted or safe. So looking at the trauma, looking at truth, that's really, 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 really a big deal. Of being able to talk about what you truly feel in any moment with someone who is not going to tell you otherwise, tell you don't feel that, or wow, that's weird. I have coaching sessions, and I had a coaching session with someone, and one of her responses was, I literally can tell you anything and you will not judge me. And that is the God's honest truth. That is why I love what I do, because there's nothing anyone can tell me that's going to blow my mind. Nothing. I've been doing this 20 years. I've lived 44 years of a really wacky life, a lot of traumas, dramas, superficial stuff, a lot of love too, a lot of fun times, all good stuff. I had a big gamut of life. So there's really nothing you can tell me that's going to blow my mind. There's nothing. I constantly say truth is higher than love. So if we continue to lie to ourselves, or if we continue to tell people a story about ourselves that isn't the true narrative, you'll never heal. You will never heal. So I say find someone that you can 100% confide in, that is there to help you move through the energy. But you cannot reach a level of healing if you're not going to be holding self-truth. And that is something why I'm constantly, sometimes in a playful manner, but very seriously, like always being real and saying like, oh my God, I was going to throat punch this person. And like, am I really going to throat punch somebody on the line at a food store? I hope not, because then I will have completely gone unhinged. But I feel like it sometimes. I feel like, oh my God, I hate that person. I'm going to go nuts. What's wrong with them? Because whatever's going on. So like, that's okay. It would be not okay if I actually did it. That would take me to a whole other level. But what we feel is real, and it's just feelings, and they need to get out, and they need to move. So to really heal and move through severe trauma, it takes a very long time. So don't try to expect like results in a month, because then you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. And be truthful for what's really feeling in here, what really is going on. That is some steps moving through severe trauma. So I do coaching sessions with just that. I am not a therapist. I wish I was. I wish I was a let's say certified therapist, but that is not licensed. That's the word I'm looking for. Because that lends me more credibility, and it is something that bothers me daily, is that people hear that there's this psychic Deborah, and I get it. If I heard someone say, like, I've been seeing this psychic Deborah for some advice and help, I would be like, ooh, please don't do that. Like, why are you going to see a psychic for like really intense stuff? My skills of intuition and my passion of people and dissecting every emotion and thought attached has rendered me a freaking fucking expert at this stuff. And I'm not licensed. And so that often takes credibility from the outside world into what I can do, and it bothers me. Life did not afford me the opportunity to go back for a master's degree to get licensed. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. You know, it's a big expense. And I think to myself, well, I have a job and a career without it, but it is something that bothers me literally on a daily basis. That bothers me. So when I say that I work with people, I'm at this 20 years. There's nothing you're going to say to me that is off the deep end. And I am confident in being able to help you, but I also know that line of when I can't. And, oh, you know who would help you? This person. Or know what you need is this person. Or, you know, introduce yourself to different modalities. So look into coaching with me, and or the workshops. And I know for some finances are a problem, then I say, please, please, please hear me when I say start with my meditation, my weekly meditation on Zoom. It sounds crazy. Workshops, you will get something out of it to move you forward. Those are, if you pay by the week, it's $15 a week. If you pay for the month, I think it comes out to somewhere between $9 or $11 a week, and you pay for it all at once. So it's cheaper to do it for a month. So there. That's what I have to say about that. Oh God, that is so Forrest Gump. Let's see. Let's see. Renee is saying, I'm a mother with adult kids, and I feel like I don't have answers to what they're feeling anymore. Do you ever feel like that? They're going through grief, anxiety work, and I feel like I can't help them. Oh, yeah. I think especially like adult children. I mean, I don't know what you're describing adult. Is that 18 or is that 30? It doesn't really matter, but I think just having kids being able to express things to you and then you normalizing them, as far as normalizing meaning like, oh my gosh, this has got to be hard for you, or wow, I have never felt that way. Tell me more about it. Or, opening up communication is the key to all things related to anxiety, depression, overwhelm, um, sadness, OCD. Usually as parents, we kind of freak out like, oh my God, what do you mean you're really sad? Or, oh my God, what do you mean this? And then that gives a message that like something's wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong. It's called being human, and it's really hard sometimes, and it's really crappy. And parents, we don't know everything, and letting them know like, I don't know how to help you, but let's try to find somebody who does. That's always helpful, because as parents, we always think we have all the answers, and we don't, because sometimes we're part of the problem. I was speaking to one of my sons fairly recently, and I'm pretty plugged into this stuff, but maybe things that I have done or not have done in the past has caused them issues or grief or anxiety. And as a parent and as a human being, I can be accountable to that, and I can hear it and accept it and learn from it. But maybe they can't tell me because I'm part of the problem. Maybe I didn't help them in the way that they really needed it. And so I need to hear that objectively and be able to say that I'm sorry, that I wouldn't do that intentionally, and blah, blah, blah. So as parents, we can't always do all the helping, because sometimes someone else needs to help show that, well, yeah, I'm really pissed at my mom because she blah, blah, blah. If that makes sense, I hope so. Let's see. Reading more. Yeah, the elderly in nursing homes are suffering from depression, anxiety, and depression. Kids, teenagers suffering from anxiety, separation, and depression. Parents not knowing how to manage all this, suffering from anxiety, separation, depression. It's a tough time in the world. And all of the initial, when COVID started 7.5 months ago, just like any other trauma and drama, we just respond. You just go into what I call as go mode, and you just go like, oh, this is what we're doing now. And anytime, you're in a traumatic situation, you're not in a processing situation. You're not like, I'm watching this car blow up in front of me. Now, what should I do? You don't do that. We go into go mode. Oh my God, there's been an accident. Oh my God, I just got news this happened. Oh my God, this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what do I need to do next? And we go into an unconscious go mode. And it takes a while for us to come out of that go mode, which is why they call PTSD. It's, that's post-traumatic stress, that we can't feel the brunt of just how severe this lockdown and the fear and the uncertainty was 7 months ago. We couldn't feel it back then. It would have been too much all at once. And so drips and drabs over time, now we kind of settled into this is kind of like a reality. And that's when all of a sudden it starts coming up. So for those of you that are starting to get really crazy now, I don't think it is all election related. I think it's because time has moved, and now we know what we're looking at of like, ooh, these masks are here to stay, and ooh, big social events are really clamped down, and whoa, oh my God, my whole life has been changed, or like literally overnight, and now it's catching up to us. So we are going to see a lot of the manifestation of that initial trauma starting now. And I'm not saying that you haven't been feeling it all along. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that are just catching up to it now. So we have to take care of each other, to be vocal about it, talk about it, be open, share. And when you're feeling okay, you relate to people. I think in all of my classes that I take, particularly the deep emotional work classes, I always have people raise their hand when someone is saying something that they relate to. So if someone says, oh, I've suffered from depression, about 8 other hands would go in the air. And it is so phenomenal how fast people get connected when you know someone can relate, because you can look at this supermodel girl and think, man, her life is freaking perfect. And then she starts raising her hand when someone says, well, I've considered suicide. And then her hand goes up and you're like, what? Her? You just don't think, because we always think everyone's got it so much better than us. So relating to people without giving advice and saying advice is so powerful. Just to be like, I've been there. I feel for you. I've gone through that too, or I felt the same way. That is so powerful for people. So just relate to people. When people are posting anger on social media and you also feel angry, you could just write, I relate. You can just feel that. Or someone really sad and depressed, I totally relate. You don't have to say more. You don't really need to say more. Let's see. Jane, my health has been affected by the quarantine. How can I help myself better? I'm trying to instill some boundaries. And do I have any thoughts? Meditation, 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 meditation. You guys are going to get sick of me hearing that. We all wanted a magic pill. We have it. It's called meditation. And it's really annoying that we don't do it. And I've been teaching it for 15 years, and I've just woken up to the holy crap factor of like, why have I not done this every single day for a half hour every day, or whatever it is, 5 minutes a day? Because it really does take care of so much. I'm not saying it's going to solve, well, no, I was going to say I won't say it won't solve the world peace, but that's not true. It would, if collectively we did it. So I would start, Jane, with some sort of meditation practice. I think it is much easier to start a meditation practice through guided meditation, because you're listening to someone's voice, and I walk you through, there's an 800 million out there, so you could choose any. But I walk you through a journey. Mine, we process afterwards. People have the opportunity to say, well, Deborah, I saw this in my meditation and it really left me unsettled. What's that about? Or, oh my God, Deborah, this occurred in mine. Or last night, our meditation was about connecting with a loved one who has passed. And people would say, I knew it was my dad, but I couldn't see his face. Why? What happened? So the processing of our meditations together is so valuable. And just hearing other people share where they're at makes you feel not alone. It's real sharing. It's not fluff stuff. It's funny. I mean, it's really, I think it's truly, it's my favorite thing that I do. I do it for 15 years, and I just love people. This is why I love people. I could throat punch the woman in the store because she's like on her phone, not bagging her shit, and I'm waiting and I want to kill her. But if she showed up in my meditation class, I would be like, oh, I get it. Okay. Oh my God. Next time, could you stop? Could you not do that? But I feel love for humanity when we share on what's real. I love that. I love that. So Jane, meditation for sure. Instilling some boundaries for sure. Be mindful of not having the tendency, and this is for everybody to really hear this, of not having the tendency to justify why you think and feel the way you do. This is really something interesting. Or justify why you aren't going to go to a party, or justify, at anything in your life. We constantly feel like we have to explain ourselves. And when you start catching yourself how often you feel like you have to explain yourself, stop yourself. You don't need to explain. You really don't. I mean, maybe if cops arrested you and they would be like, whoa, where were you on the night of whatever? You might have to explain yourself then. You might have to be like, no, I really was there and I didn't do anything. Or no, I wasn't there. Maybe then you have to explain yourself. But there's really not much you have to explain yourself for. And I think the energy of justifying your thoughts and feelings to either yourself or anyone else. I'm not only talking about justifying to other people. I'm saying justifying to yourself is exhausting. And it takes a lot of energy to convince yourself you're okay and your choices are okay. So I would also start there, Jane. Well, for all of us, is to really pay attention. How often are you trying to justify to yourself, like, well, I just want to lay down and read a book. Okay. Just lay down and read a book. I also call it permission to be. Grant yourself permission to be, which is super, super powerful. But meditation, you guys, I'm telling you, 7:30 p.m. Sunday nights with me. People go crazy on, I just want a one-on-one appointment, and I can only do so many in a month. And you don't want me to overbook my schedule, because if I do so many, then I'm completely drained. And you might get the appointment where I'm just like, yeah, I'm tapped out. I'm done. I can't even do this. So, and when I am at that point, I actually do reschedule. I will say, like, you don't want me today. Very rare, super rare. Like, maybe did that 3 times in my whole career, but I've done it. So I can't do so much, but I'm telling you the value. It's like one-on-one. I mean, I see you on Zoom. We connect, we communicate. It's even one step more intimate than this is tonight, is that, Deborah, what's going on with me? What's happening? Intuitively, I feel what's going on, and I can help process, and it's really powerful. So if you need a starting point, I would tell you Sunday night meditations with me. And I constantly add workshops and courses and content and so much all the time, and more and more. I'm going to be doing more and more personal development workshops. But for the month of November is just meditation on the calendar. Meditation and my group Zooms, which I think December 13th is the only date I have left, I think, for those. Let's see. Let's see. I have my daughter's ashes in my closet, and my new husband wants me to get rid of him out of the house. I'm now pissed off because he knew, and I'm going through life hard because my daughter's father. Oh, your daughter's father's ashes? J Puzzle, what's also your first name? And then I'll see if I can get back to that question. Let's see. Amber, what a week you're saying. It's been a week. I told you after coaching you're going to start getting hit and some stuff's going to show up. It definitely is going to show up. So we have more. I have class coming up this Sunday, don't I? What am I talking about when I said I don't have workshops? I do have workshops coming this Sunday, and I can't remember the content right now. I'm scared of myself. I think I have amnesia. Amnesia. I wish I was your friend. I need your sense of understanding. Just stay here. You've got my sense of understanding. I one time had a therapist many years ago. I went to therapy, which I highly encourage everyone to go to, a really good therapist that you really click with. And she said, Deborah, you have a PhD in understanding. You need to dial that back. Meaning, like, sometimes I gave people my own life, not people that I'm giving intuitive or helping with intuitively. She was saying I gave too many people in my own personal life too much understanding, and it was like I was justifying. Basically, I was enabling. And then I cleared that shit right up, and then I stopped. And life got really nice after I stopped enabling. Super, like, wow moment. I didn't even know what I was doing was called enabling. I just thought I was being a good little girl, a good person. Exactly. See, Greg is saying, you are her friend. You're here. I'm telling you. Yeah. Just keep tuning in. You know what? We need like-minded people who are just going to say, I'm with you. I hear you. I get you. And then also, let's move you through it. I don't want to keep anybody there. That's for sure. Let's see. Marge, you just bought the meditation series. Fantastic. Carrie. Oh, Carrie, good. You said I did last night's meditation again, and hold on, I got to find the rest of that. Remind me how to sign up for meditation. I need to do this. Meditation is if you go to DeborahHanlon.com and you click on calendar, my calendar, and then you go to the first Sunday in November. They have the option to purchase the whole month as a monthly pass for $60. And because there's 5 Sundays in November, so they said it's 20% off. My office said it's 20% off, which I always feel like I'm like Crazy Eddie. It's like 50% off. I always feel like a salesperson. But it's costs less when you sign up for all of them. If you don't want to commit to all of them, then you could pay week to week. So whatever week you want to join, go to that week on my calendar and purchase for that week. So, if you don't want to purchase last night's because it happened already, Well, we have the recording too. You could always purchase the past one, the recording, but they are done live with you. Let's see. Your daughter's father's ashes. Yeah, that's a tough one. That is definitely a tough one, Jennifer. I would say stick with what you feel is right for you to do. It is your daughter's father's ashes, and your husband now does not want to keep them in the house. And you could ask him why. Hold on, no, it's been 5 years. Hold on. I'm just looking back to read this. Hold on. So it's not that they freak him out. He's just, well, then there's something else going on with him if he really needs them to go. Now, if you were doing like maybe nightly ritual chants and summoning his energy and teaching your daughter to do that, I might say, you know what, Jen, and I wouldn't say get rid of the ashes, but I would say maybe you might want to look at a different way of holding these ashes memory. And there's nothing wrong with what I just said either, if you do that, but not you, anyone else in here. If he feels like they should be spread, and because that was the wishes of your daughter's father, then maybe he's trying to get you to fill out his wishes. I don't know. If he's jealous of him, then that would be a much larger issue for sure, Jen. That not knowing him, not knowing you well enough yet, there's a lot to be discussed there. So you just have to say like, well, that's, if he's having a problem with that, then, and you can't get rid of them, and I don't think that you should personally until if it felt right to you, then yeah, you go like, yeah, I don't need these either, and I think my daughter's fine with it too. Or maybe I'm waiting for her to get older. So that's a bigger topic. And if he's jealous of him, I mean, that's a big issue. That's a really big issue, like big one. So not fixable, but you need to come from your sense of what's right. Also be careful not to, because sometimes women want their current partner to be jealous of past partners, even if that partner has passed. So I would also pay attention within you if you feel loved by him being upset by them. So that's that stuff that I talk about. That's like getting real honest with yourself. And if you said to me like, you know what, Deb, I kind of like that he's jealous. I kind of like that he's pissed. He knows what he has. Then we could work with that if that's true. And I'm not saying it is, but that would be your side of the coin and your side of the street that would be workable, the part that you can work on. Helen, hello. It's been forever since I've seen you on here. Let's see. Oh yes, Shannon, The Body Keeps Score. Yeah, that is a very popular book right now, talking about how different traumas and dramas settle into our physical body. Wishing I had your experience and knowledge tonight. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Cheryl. It's been forever for seeing you. Thank you. Jillian, it's been forever. I miss you. Can you ever just feel just blah with everyone? I know it can be usually attributed to my astrological sign, but I truly feel like everyone is off. Everyone is off right now. Let me tell you, everyone right now is off their rocker. No doubt about it. Everyone now has less patience for people. Everyone now feels like they miss. I know I actually feel like I miss basketball events, which I was always like rushing to get to them. And I was like, oh my God. And I was freezing because it's in the winter. And I layered coats on because I'm freezing. And then the minute I get into the gym, I'm sweating because I'm so hot with all the layers. So like, ugh. And I miss it. And yet the fact that I don't have like obligatory social things I love that. I'm a hermit at heart. I really am. It's ridiculous. It's getting worse through COVID. I'm enjoying it. I love my home. I love being here, which is probably why I didn't lose my, you know what, on the car situation, because I'm like 18 days and counting. I've left my house only like 5 times in 18 days. Whatever, it's fine. Um, so yes, I think everybody is off. Everyone is less tolerant. Everyone is, because we really haven't been in our automatic pilot mode. Uh-oh, I think my Facebook just died. Oh, yeah. I mean, not my Facebook, my phone just died. Because everybody's on automatic pilot. We are just, we don't want to have extra interactions right now. We just want to hunker down because we've been energetically very stressed, and we have collectively energetically been very stressed. I mean, you're talking, this whole thing turned over the consciousness of, if there's 7 billion people on the planet, let's even say 1 billion know nothing about COVID, which I'd be very surprised at, but 1 billion. You still have 6 billion people who have a mindset that is now built around this invisible force that is looming in the world with uncertainty. So that is some serious collective energy. I have high hopes for the future of this. And I swear the only thing that's going to level us up as humanity is if we go inward and we stop thinking that everyone should think and feel the way we do. Stop aligning with ourselves with only the people who think and feel the way we do, which is counterintuitive. And just to be inside and honor your own temple. And when you have honored your own temple, your voice is clear and your intention is clear, and people who get you will get you, and people who don't, they won't. And everything is kind of in one flow, if that makes sense. Let's see, maybe his reasons are legit. You should be discussing this more in depth. Agree with you, Deborah. You shouldn't have to get rid of them. Talk and be honest, both of you. Yeah, to Jen. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the Irish tradition of inviting souls in on All Souls Night? I'm kind of on the fence, but my boy's anniversary is tomorrow, so I'd love a visit. So this is something that is coming up a lot this week. I kind of made a joke at my gallery last week of, everybody seems to always ask me like, oh my gosh, Deborah, are you like so busy around Halloween and All Souls Day? And I laugh like, no, I'm not any busier. Why? And people say, because the veil is thinner. The veil, you hear them more. You can be connected with them more. And nope. The veil is not thinner at any one point in the calendar year than any other point. Holidays and traditions are human-made concepts to mark different aspects of our lives. So, there used to be like, I was gonna say harvest parties, but like celebrations around time to harvest. And there would be celebrations around time to plant, and celebrations around time, Thanksgiving, my gosh, that's the human-made concept of gratitude, joining all in one, spending time to be happy with the bounty and the harvest. But that was human made. That wasn't, and none of these religious dates were anything but human made events around a concept. Does that make sense, you guys? And so as humans move forward, we say, oh my gosh, it's All Souls Day, so the souls it's easier to connect with. It's not easier to connect with. It's just that we're setting aside a day to connect with them, which when we do set aside time and date to connect with them, we will. So you can do that every day if you want to. So, it's marking a celebration and an awareness of. It's beautiful. It's a cool thing, Day of the Dead, and it's a cool thing, but it's not just valuable on that day. This is your access to it, equal access to it all year round. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. I do more of the sweeping the stoops during the full moon to sweep away the old, invite the new. I don't know why, but I like that Celtic tradition. And you leave both the front and back door open. Yeah, see, all of these things are any kind of action. When we kneel, if you go to church and you kneel in church, when you are praying and bending on a prayer mat, these are physical human actions to honor or bring honor and awareness to something. So when you say the sweeping the stoops during the full moon to sweep away the old and invite the new, that is a physical action to remind your body, mind, and spirit of, okay, I'm cleaning out the new, and I'm cleaning out the old, and I'm bringing out the new. So does the sweeping do it? No, the sweeping doesn't do it. It's your connection to the action and intention that creates the manifestation of, I am intending to clear away the old and bring in the new. Which, again, guys, in meditation, I teach every time you breathe in, you're breathing in the new, because we haven't breathed in this breath before. And every time we exhale, we're getting rid of the old. And the cool thing about the body is we don't tell the body what to get rid of. We do not monitor what goes in and what goes out. We just do. We're just in this flow, which is why we are in flow of existence. So every moment with intention and awareness, as you think, okay, I'm breathing in this moment, and this moment has never occurred before, and now it's gone, and I exhaled it, and now I'm bringing in this moment, and I'm breathing in this moment, and now that's gone, and I'm exhaling it. I mean, that's powerful. Like any moment can change at any moment. And through our breath, we get present. And when we're present, anxiety does not exist in the presence, because anxiety in the presence is usually a response to a trauma. So if you can kind of dial yourself back, for those of you who have experienced anxiety, when you're having anxiety, you are not in touch with the moment right now. Your mind is either thinking about all the what if possibilities that could happen in the future, or all of the opportunities that are already gone that you can't fix or that you can't do over. So your mind, your consciousness, your awareness is either focused on a future event that's not even here yet, or focused on a past event that is already done. And so as soon as we do that, our mind, our focus is no longer in the moment. And what happens? The mind is looking for the body. The mind is like, hello, hi. Okay, 5 years ago, where was I 5 years ago? 5 years ago, you should have done this, should have done that. How come you didn't do that? Okay, okay, just breathe. Okay, it's fine. Oh my God, but what if tomorrow I don't get this? And the body and the mind are trying to find each other. Breath brings you to the present moment, brings you to awareness. I feel my breath going in. I feel my breath going out. I pay attention, clasp your hands, put your hands on your thighs, your legs, whatever works for you, and get present. Go, I'm right here right now. That's it. This is all that's happening right now. This is the moment I'm sure of. And in this moment, I'm all right. I got uncertainty on my mind, but I'm not going to flip a switch and go only into it. I'm aware of it. It's back there. I have sadness for a friend. I'm aware of it. It's back there. But we come to presence in this here and now moment. And if we are really not okay and truly present, it's usually because like, oh, my house is on fire and I really got to get out of here. So breath, breathing in this moment, exhaling the old is just it's a meditation practice in of itself, and we're doing it all day long. And just every once in a while, turn your attention away from your computer, your desk, your TV, whatever, and just take like 3 obvious mindful breaths, and you will feel dramatically different in 3 breaths. That's it. 3 breaths. Let's do one more. There's a difference. There's totally a difference. If you felt a little sense or twinge of emotion coming up, let it. It's just energy. It's just energy moving through your body. So practice that. Please let me help you. That is my job. That is what I do. Is what I live for. I can't help you if I don't know you're out there. So let me help you. Maybe I'm not the one, and I'm totally cool with saying, like, you know what? I don't know that I can. I don't know, I might not be good enough. I might not know what you're doing. I'm I don't have an ego that big, shockingly. I know I act like I do. But I do know that there are certain things I can get people started on, and meditation is the first. I have online courses listed up there. That one is still 50% off because it was up to a certain amount of people, and I didn't get that many people that signed up for it. So they're still available for the introduction to meditation experience on Teachable. And then there is another class called Upgrading Your Vibration on my Teachable platform. So those are there. And my website, you guys know, I'm here every Monday night, 8:30 till whenever. Promise me you will find some way that I can work with you to help you to get you into a place where you feel better. What does that look like? I don't know. You don't know. But that's my job. That's all I want. So I'm going to end here. Tomorrow, keep breathing. Keep remembering that whatever is coming up within you is yours. And you might be triggered. You might be upset. You might be panicked. You might be angered. But be mindful of how you're putting that energy out there. I don't want to be that person that throws my nerves onto anyone else. So, and I can't say that I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do that, or my anger, I put it out elsewhere. But just be mindful for each other. We're in this together. People are having a very hard time, not just you. I think we're more alike than we are different at the end of the day. We really just care about our families, our friends, our well-being, our health, our happiness. Sure, there's some people out there that might not have everyone's interest at heart. Don't give them the attention in your mind. Focus on the ones that do. Focus on the people, the helpers, as Mr. Rogers used to say. So much good out there, so many good people willing to help. Just keep your focus on that, and then you will contribute to having the awareness of the helpers take the spotlight of whatever that means at any point, instead of the negative news and the negative this and the negative that. We've had enough. I think we've had enough of all of that. So don't contribute to it. So I will see you here hopefully on Sunday for meditation. All of my links are down below too in the comments section. So you can look below in the description. In the description. And I will see you hopefully Sunday. And if not Sunday, then I will see you hopefully again here Monday night. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you soon. Good luck and be well, and have a good one. So thanks. Bye.